Good morning, everyone. A warm and cheerful welcome to everyone present here. I welcome you all to the electrifying debate competition on one of the most controversial and thought-provoking topics of all the time. I, Khan, am honored to be your host today, guiding you through this intellectual battlefield where words will be sharper than sword, logic will reign supreme, and perspectives will collide. Before we dive into the debate, let me introduce our format. We have total 5 members each. We will have 5 powerful rounds, each focusing on a different aspects of the death penalty. Each speaker will present their points and their opponent will counter with their rebuttal. But wait, that's not all. We will also have an interactive audience round. So be prepared to ask tough questions and challenge our debaters as your opinion matters too. Without further delay, let's move to the round first. Let's start with the team justice. And the question is, does that punishment act as an effective deterrent?
So my point is fear of death prevents potential criminals from committing heinous crimes.
But the study shows that the capital punishment doesn't significantly reduces the crime rates. My point is wrongful executions have occurred to leading the irreversible mistakes.
Judicial processes have improved minimizing wrongful conviction. And my point is it ensures justice for victims and families.
But in some cases, innocent family members suffer consequences and the death penalty violates the human right and it is inhumane.
My point is it prevents repeat offender from harming society again.
Justice should focus on rehabilitation. My point is the justice system is biased. The death penalty disproportionality affects the poor.
The system improving to ensure the fair trial in all. And the point is death penalty can be closer to the victim family.
Closure doesn't come from revenge. Rehabilitation is a more human approach. And my point is many countries have abolished ill proving its ineffectiveness.
I agree with you, but those countries may have different crime situations and each nation should decide based on its needs. And my point is it reinforces the severity of law and order.
The rule of law should be based on reform, not revenge. And my point is death penalty is irreversible, so leave no room for correction.
Wonderful. Audience, let your voice be heard. Step in and raise your questions for the debaters.
Which international organization strongly oppose the death penalty?
Amnesty International, an organization that campaign globally to oppose the death penalty and promote human rights.
A system without justice is just like a body without a soul. But the question is, does death penalty is morally justified? Question goes to the team advantage.
I believe that many religious texts supports capital punishment for certain crimes.
Yes, you are right. But killing someone, even legally, is ethically questionable. My point is, life imprisonment without parole is a viable option.
A strong punishment policy helps control crime rates. And my point is eliminates dangerous individuals who pose a threat to national safety.
I respect your view, but studies suggest harsh punishment doesn't always deter crime as the people often commit offenses impulsively or out of the desperation regardless of severity.
I believe that serial killers and terrorists do not deserve mercy. And my point is the killer should not be allowed to live.
If a wrongful executions happen, it can't be undone. My point is many global organizations oppose it.
Most of the families favor death penalty for served crime. Instill fear and spleen in societies.
I believe that does not address root cause of crime. And my point is poverty, mental health issue and social condition need attention.
Okay, but I believe that some criminals do not deserve a second chance. And my point is justice should be swift and a final. It is not a joke.
Murder is wrong even when done legally.
Wonderful. Our audience is just as fierce as the debaters. So, audience, do you have any burning questions for the debaters?
How many countries have abolished the death penalty completed?
111 countries.
Good. Without further ado, let's move to the round third, that is social and financial impact of death penalty.
So I believe that the death penalty reduces prisons overcrowding.
But the death penalty violates the fundamental rights of life. My point is, no government should have power to take a person's life.
The long term of coping criminals in prison is higher, and my point is execution eliminates the possibility of repeated offences.
You make a valid observation, but some criminals sentenced to death have later been proven innocent. And the justice system is biased, and the death penalty unfairly affects the poor.
I believe that the system is improving to ensure fair trials. And my point is the death penalty can bring closer to the victim families.
Closure doesn't come from revenge. I think rehabilitation is more human approach. My point is many criminals commit crime due to socio-economic struggles. It is not just malice.
Death penalty is the necessary for justice. Death penalty reinforces the law and deters the serious crimes.
No real evidence proves the death penalty reduces crime rate, and my point is the death penalty violates basic human rights and should be abolished.
Criminals must take responsibility regardless of background. Death penalty trials allow victim families to feel heard and supported.
The justice system is perfect because a wrongful execution remains a risk. And my point is the execution itself can be cruel and painful.
Audience, raise your hands and let's challenge their arguments.
Which country carries out the highest number of execution?
China carries the highest number of execution, and I think 296 executions.
Without further delay, let's move to the round four, that is, the question rises that does it violate the human rights?
I believe that justice system should prioritize victims' rights over criminal rights. The point is, the death penalty provides justice to the victims and for their families.
Life imprisonment without parole is more human alternatives.
Some cultures and society view the death penalty as necessary for justice, and my point is every country has the right to determine its own legal and moral standards.
I understand your view, but many countries are abolishing the death penalty because it is inhumane. According to the data, over 70% of the world's nations have eliminated and stopped using capital punishment.
I believe that it shows the government strength, the public feels safer. And my point is the death penalty permanently removes threat from society. It releases on parole. It might repeat their crimes, putting innocent life at risk.
Some criminals get pardoned while others are executed. My point is, it encourages totality in society.
I believe that law and order must be maintained in weak punishment to lead a lawless society.
Global trend is moving away from it. More and more countries are abolishing it.
People trust a strong justice system, and my point is prison sentences are not alone enough.
Inhumane execution system inhumane execution method like as lethal injection and hanging are very much painful. And my valuable point is violate those shall not kill principle.
Wonderful debaters. Last but not the least, now we have reached our final and the most crucial round. Each team's head is that Zeba and Adnan will summarize their stances in a powerful way.
So my opinion is, if someone commits an unspeakable crime, should they be allowed to live while their victims lie in graves? Justice demands that those who commit the most heinous crimes face the ultimate punishment. Anything less is an insult to the victims and their families.
True justice is about fairness, not brutality. A modern society shouldn't clinch to outdated violent punishment. Life in prison is more stronger punishment than death. It forces the criminals to live with their action, not offering them a quick escape.
Audience, do you have any questions?
Is life imprisonment better alternative to the death penalty?
Yes, it allows the rehabilitation.
Wow, what an intense and enlightening debate. Both teams have presented incredible arguments and challenging us to think deeply about the complexities of justice, crime, and human rights. Before we conclude, let's give a huge round of applause to our amazing participants and, of course, to our fantastic audience for your participation and enthusiasm. Remember, true wisdom lies not in winning or losing a debate, but in opening our minds to new perspectives. This is Afsa Khan signing off. Thank you.